Hi everyone, this is Dawn. I'm here to record just an intro for the video which will follow. So the title, I'm going to title this video just sort of a conglomeration of concepts. So the video is probably going to be titled something like Home, Equinox, Energetic Shifts, Event Horizon, and A Time for Us. And so there's like obviously a lot going on, and they wanted me to record this video intro to the video that will follow, which is simply me sharing a little bit about my own knowing and observation about this time in March and moving into the month of April 2018. So I am not a big fan of doing these videos anymore because of how they may be misinterpreted, and also because the timelines are always shifting, and we cannot, in our human experience here, we cannot possibly, I don't think anyone alive today can possibly receive the whole picture. That's the beauty of it. We are all given glimpses and pieces of it, and I do think it's valuable to share those with one another, because I think together they make a beautiful, I usually call it a tapestry of timeless truths, or a timeless tapestry of truth, and that's what's happening right now. They wanted me to record this intro to just emphasize three key ideas, which have to do with what has come before, what is now, and what is coming after, or what will come after. So I'm going to do my best to do that. In the video that follows, I'll talk a little bit about an experience I had of being home, my true heart's home, and what that was like. And I think that that's exactly what is now, what is coming now, what is right now in March and April of 2018 occurring in ways, again, beyond our understanding. I want to say one other thing, which is that initially when I thought, I've talked about, really shifting everything to my other channel, my main channel, Dawn Richardson, on YouTube. And so I actually thought I was going to do a video about equinox energies in a broader sense for the collective. But when I had this experience last week, it was clear that it's extremely important right now. So now I'm talking about the now for those of us. Okay, so what we've been doing really since the solar eclipse in August, before then, of course, as well, but we have been in a serious way anchoring light for exactly what is occurring right now in March and April, spring of 2018, spring in the Northern Hemisphere. That anchoring of light has required quite a bit from many of us. Including those who are fully awake and aware of what's happening, and including those who maybe aren't completely on a conscious level aware of the degree to which they are participating, their higher self, their soul self, is fulfilling an agreement that the self made. And there's a lot that could be said about that. I think that others are speaking to that in terms of that process. So I'm just going to leave that here. But anyway, it became clear that I needed to go ahead and share this video on Twin Hearts Ablaze for those of you who are, who will resonate with the fact that of where we have been, where we are, and then what comes after. And I just want to give a shout out to those in this larger community who are talking about themes related to the path of sacred partnership and what has been referred to as twin flames, because when one is called out to this path and who has been sent here as a soul to be of service to humanity, it can, while I'm not a fan, as everybody knows, of the confusing morass of videos that are out there in terms of romanticizing this path and or making it something that it is not. It is beautiful, and it is a great love, and do not want to diminish that in any way, shape, or form. But most of us who have been pioneers in terms of really actually doing the work and living this understand that it is not what it has been made to be at times. And so in any case, it was clear to me that I needed to go ahead and share this on this channel. And I just want to thank everyone who is, from their own perspective, sharing their truths, and also ask that each person who might be connecting with various perspectives out there trust your inner knowing and your heart above all else, and ask for guidance directly from Spirit, and it will be given. So just be open to how that comes to you. Just like the experience that I had, I never thought I would have such a actual feeling experience of that in this reality, in this from this earth plane, if you will. And I did. And there are so many other things that have unfolded. And what I am noticing more and more is that as we all know, we have all we need. You are a dynamic and sustainable system, and you will know what you know when you need to know it. And if we trust that, and if we live into our service to humanity, our purpose, our mission, to the best of how we understand it in any given day. And really what that boils down to is simply being the light and the life and the love you are, being who you are, returning to the whole of who you are, showing up authentically, daring to know that when you are that, you will be sustained by life itself, by God, by Spirit, and we are held always in an infinite field of grace. So let's see. So I think let me go ahead and dive into just briefly. I'm going to try to be succinct here. What has come before? So what we have been doing again is anchoring the energetic frequency necessary and the light necessary to sustain the physical earth and the for the highest potential to unfold for every soul, so that all may see and make whatever choices that individual soul wants to make in this very time now. So it's all been preparation. And as I mentioned in my next the video that will follow, you know, like I myself have been quite exhausted by some of that beautiful moments in the last 6 months, and I'm seeing more and more. Like I had a sense of it last August with the solar eclipse, but I didn't get the degree to which this would be a build-up preparation and laying the groundwork. And I can see now some of the things that occurred for me personally, and some of the more collective energetic shifts that happened, that some of which were unexpected or like felt like downers, was there were parallel processes going on at that time. So what has come before is that we've been anchoring, you know, we've been anchoring this light and preparing the earth and our hearts to receive the gift that is coming, approaching now. And I can also, on a personal note, see how places that I was led and people, encounters that I had, some pleasant and some not so pleasant, were actually a part of the clearing preparation process for myself, for that individual, and for the whole of humanity. This also relates very much to the clearing of ancestral lineage and all the gunk that's been there, and the beautiful way that it's set up. I just want to mention that briefly, that it's you know, I often, you know, find myself just, you know, like, what is this world? You know, I've been like that since I was a small child, and why are these people like this, and why isn't, you know, and I'm very impatient, but I have been seeing how beautiful it is designed, so that's what's come before. This has been preparation. This has been anchoring of light, not just the last 6 months, it's been lifetimes, but in particular, we have been on the final trajectory into that wave that is now coming. So what is now? what is now is, I think of it in my heart and mind as a line in some respects of demarcation, but also a line that we are meant to hold steady. And those of us who are called to lead the way in love, this is absolutely, this is showtime and stand firm time. So what for the most part, the anchoring has been successful, and we are called now to hold that line, to stand together um, energetically in the higher realms, and as much as possible to connect with one another where we are called to do so. And many beautiful things are happening with that. And I just, it's, I'm just leave it at that. It's beautiful. I have more to say, but I'm going to leave it. I'll go off on a tangent. Sorry. So this is right now. There's a line. So I've been called back a couple of times in recent weeks to when my son was younger. He's about to turn 25, which makes me feel a little bit old. But when he was younger, we used to watch a lot of shows on black holes and various, oh, I can't remember the name of the one I was so intrigued by, but there's a particular kind of black hole. But in any case, we used to watch these shows on PBS, and he ended up studying aerospace engineering, so he's very scientific and technical. And when he was like 8 or 7, he understood far more of this than I do. But then, he also plays electric guitar, and named one of his bands, I think this was the high school one, Event Horizon. I don't really understand. I tried to read the Wikipedia before I came on here to make this intro, and to be honest, I can't comprehend the science of it, but I'll put the link below in case you are more able to absorb that. Maybe you'll get something else from that. But I'm not suggesting that there is an event horizon that will happen on a particular date. I do think, though, if you translate that to the spiritual, there is absolutely a shift, an opening, and a closing, and a new reality. And whether it's, I don't know, stars dying or being born again or whatever, and the theory of relativity and all that stuff. I don't know. I don't get it, but I do think that there is something there. I'm positive that there is something there right now. And so I was called back to the name of his band a couple of times this last couple of weeks, Event Horizon. And I remember when we used to watch those black hole shows, there was always just like a knowing in me that this was related to what was happening on a larger cosmic level, not just in space, somewhere here, right here, with us. And ultimately, it is opportunity. It is promise. It's not a time for fear. It's a time for love. And when we choose love, we will receive the gift. And so we have prepared, we have laid the groundwork, and now it is stepping and standing on that line. And I use the word line, but I'm not suggesting that it's a physical line. But there is an opportunity to acknowledge what is unfolding and to be present to it and for it. I was shown 2 images by Spirit with regard to what is now. One was a vertical line, and it was very much support from the cosmic realms, a vertical line that was itself an anchor. And there was an anchoring in the heart of Gaia. And here, in our planetary home, there was a support, a link, a tether, an anchor. So that was one image. The second image was a horizontal line that was very much like our equator that goes around the globe, the Earth. And then I saw the 2 lines above and below, the Tropic of Capricorn, the Tropic of Cancer. Ironically, those are the signs of myself and my twin. And I'm sure many others, and there were within those tropics and the line that was a circle wrapped around the world. I'll try to put some text too that pertains to this from the 90 Days to Life that I've written, and the Life Seeds book. I'll put the links to those below as well. And there's one in particular that pertains to this. And I can't remember the exact wording, so I'll just put it below. But I was shown the vertical line from the cosmic realms and the horizontal line that was more like a wrapping the earth, and it was that when the way that it was shown to me was iridescent rainbow, and it was sending out waves of that translucent rainbow-like thing. It was in to the north and to the south, but then it was also folding in on itself. So like making waves in the air and then coming back and coming back. And there were layers and layers and layers and layers of this unfolding. And then that center line, the equator-like line, it wasn't the equator, but it was the line there was somehow moving into the earth to meet that anchoring. So again, the theme of anchoring. So what is now, and what is we are called to do, is very much to hold the circle. We are holding the circle. I made a video about this, and I do not know which one it was, and I don't have time to go back and look through all of them, but it was that the 144,000, those of us who are called out, are the line. We are the line. And if there are those who choose not to show up for what we agreed to, the line will still be held. And so that's now. And what comes after? So what comes after, I was told very specifically, it was Jesus who was saying again, as he said so often in the Gospels and in his life and in his teachings, you know, for those who have eyes to see, for those who have ears to hear. And that is going to be important, that for what comes after, we are not to get sidetracked into a purely human emotional response or reaction to try to convince anyone of anything and or to have them see what we know to be. One has to choose that for themselves. And so what comes after is that for those of us who do have eyes to see, we must keep our eyes fixed on that. And there will potentially, you know, again, I think that this is in some ways an unknown, what comes after. And what comes after, again, I want to emphasize too, this could literally be all internal waves, and or it could be external series of events, and as I say in the video that follows, I believe it's both. And so the what comes after, and then there was one other image I saw with what comes after that I want to speak to, which is that the tendency may come up where we may want to stay fixed, and we're going to want to assist those who are struggling, and the need will be vast and great potentially, and the world can be quite beautiful, as many of us already know, and so there might be a tendency to want to, you know, kind of hunker down and stay in a little cocoon like, and either enjoy and experience that and just let that be that, or to want to fall back into sort of a more saving, fixing, rush into help. But it's important for us in what comes after not to lose sight of the upward movement, not leaving behind, but rather us living into that and lifting up. I just think of that on Wings of Eagles verse in the Bible, and so it's important in what comes after that we maintain that as much as possible. I, for one, know that in the past, at various junctures of this journey, both those that were outward in the physical sense of this journey, and my own life's, you know, my own story of life as it has unfolded, and also in the more spiritual sense, there have been points where that is quite difficult for me, because when it does feel in your own small world, where it feels like, perhaps you are alone, or even though we know, we're all connected, it's important. So there's been places where I've kind of fallen off in that regard and had to pull myself back up and get back on track. So one thing I was shown was that once we hold the line, which we have been holding the line of the space, and we have been a part of being that anchor for others energetically, even when they're completely not aware of it, whether that's unfolding within the 2 by 2, or whether that is a much larger collective anchoring that has been occurring. But it's important for us to keep that image front and center in the months of March and April, and much beyond that, and to not feel paralyzed in any way, because the freedom, we will feel the freedom, absolutely, but it's important for us to continue to tap into those inner resources. Again, I go back to what I write about in All Systems Go. We are, you are, I am a dynamic and sustainable system. We're intended to be fueled from within by the light and the life and the love that we are, and to move forward in our lives in whatever way we are led by love, and to bring forward our particular play of light, to really share our essential story of life. What does that mean? Living in full expression, and to share it. So to express it, and also to expand radiantly from within, and to be a grace-filled revolution of love in this world. And so it's important in the after, whatever unfolds internally or externally, that we continue to, and by the way, the before, the now, and the after, before, during, after, or the then, or what was, and what will be in the, there in the future. It's all held in one. It's now, it's all happening at once. So, it's important to realize that too. But in all of that, it's important to continue to move, not to run away, not to run over here to try to fix this or make a difference here. I mean, that's good, but not to completely scatter our energy, and also not to remain, sort of like, oh, what's going to come next? Or, oh, okay, I'm just shell-shocked. I mean, I think it's important to process, whatever happens internally in your own journey, and also externally. And at the same time, there is a need and a desire from life itself, and I would say from God, that we continue to move deeper into our own hearts, and then continue to allow that to flow through us, to anchor into our hearts, and then to be shared with all, and not to get too caught up in our own. Wow, there are. I'm looking out the window right now, and there are 7 cardinals. There weren't any today. I'm at a different home, and there are 7 cardinals like lined up in a circle right on top of the little bird feeder. Wow. Okay, so a little sign there. It's important for us to continue the movement, but not random movement. This is an intentional. It's following the momentum action pathways, the MAP, as I like to use the little acronym for momentum action pathways, to the next right step. And that's going to be unique for each one of us. And in some cases, we will be led to various places, geographical and or people, groups of people, and that will become evident. So it's not necessary to, be spending a lot of time ping-ponging back and forth trying to understand or figure out where do we go or what do we do, because it's going to be natural. And after the said, even horizon or whatever does unfold in terms of the holding that line and allowing, our planet and our lives to be wrapped in those iridescent rainbow layers of light. And it's quite beautiful. I saw this as a child I guess it was a dream, not quite sure, but it was a difficult time in my childhood. And it's one of the clearest memories I have from that, 4 or 5 year period, is I saw this. It was the same thing, it looked a little different in what they showed me recently in terms of the actual visual, but it's the same thing. It's beautiful and it is a gift. And it also, when I was seeing this recently, I was thinking of that, the verse in Revelation, and I cannot remember what chapter, but, the skies shall unfold. And it's about the glory of God made manifest, and that all shall see. And, yes, I have personally wished for many times the return, of the actual Christ Jesus, who lived and walked on this earth. And I don't know, maybe it will happen. But what I do know is that, like never before, that the love in which we are held shall be seen for those who have eyes to see, and it shall be experienced and felt. And that feeling of the return home is ours. It is being given as a gift back to us for our service and our heart's realignment with the whole of who we are. And it's important to continue to connect with that in deep ways, and to follow our guidance in terms of the ways that we are invited to do that, more and more. So it's about love. It's about love, and it's about grace. And it's a beautiful, beautiful time. I think I've said what I wanted to say. I'll just leave you with the thought that that this is a time for us. I'm reminded of that romantic song that's from, what is that from? Is it from? I think it's from West Side Story, maybe. But in any case, a time for us, and so it's beautiful, and it does speak very much of the movement toward reconciliation, restoration of a relationship, and a far more than a relationship in our case, but a reunification. And it speaks to the apparent barriers to that, which we're all familiar with those, but it's so much more than that. It is not only a time for that sort of love to be given and received, but it is also a time for us to show up as the love we are, and to hold that line, the line of love. And to be that. And we are so honored to be participants in this beautiful unfolding. I'll leave it there. Many thanks for being here. I am just so grateful to be standing alongside you. And thank you. Hey everybody, this is Dawn, Twin Hearts Ablaze. Just wanted to, actually was asked to do this video to share a little bit about March, the equinox, and moving into the celebration of Easter this year, 2018. I'm recording this on Friday, the 9th of March. And so what prompted this? A couple of days ago, about 4 or 5 days ago, I think actually it was on the evening of the 3rd going into the 4th, March 4th, I had a beautiful, beautiful experience. I believe, it was in dream time. I'm not sure if it was a dream. It felt very real. And immediately after waking up and having some reflection on that, I was reminded by my guides that I needed to speak this about the happenings in late March moving into April. Now, I want to clarify right up front here that I don't know precisely what the happenings are. I do believe, though, that they are significant turning points. I think that they could unfold inner and they could unfold outer. I do believe that there will be a series of outer events at some point. I spoke about that in previous videos around March of last year, I believe. And when I spoke about them then on this channel, I spoke directly about the illumined, the elect, and their role in that, and I connected that to those who have been called out to lead the way in terms of sacred partnership. And then I also described a bit some of the cosmic events that I saw, which are quite similar to those that have been recorded for many ages in treasured texts from a variety of traditions. And I'm not going to really go into all of that because that is not the primary thing. Is not that, first of all, we can't know the hour or the day. I don't believe that we will know that. But second of all, the time is now and the time is here. Yes, that is accurate. And that what is unfolding is for the good of all and for the upliftment of the whole. That includes this beautiful earth. That includes, each one of us at a soul level. And that includes a cleansing and a purification that is all pervasive and that flows through all life, all systems, all human creations, everything, and ultimately raises it to its highest potential. And if there is a refusal or resistance to that, then there are ramifications to that choice. So I hope that's helpful. I'm not meaning to talk in puzzles. I just really intentionally do not want to. There's no point in sharing, or in my way of viewing it, there's no point in us individually sharing, the exact precise way we think it will unfold, because the truth is we don't know. And God and the universal flow of life is inherently not only intelligent, but also it's all unfolding as it will. Okay, so I am rambling a bit, but when I had the stream, I was guided to share this video again, and I meanwhile had completed my Sacred Partnership series and was excited about sharing that with you. And then the first one uploaded. The second one is having difficulty uploading, and I finally realized, because some little things that would happen every time I tried to upload it, it would like pop up a new window for me to record a video, which is very strange. And I was like, I'm done. But I knew that it became obvious that it was time for me to go ahead and share this, which seems a little early to me. But I am going to follow that guidance. So back to the dream, I just want to speak briefly about that, so you'll have a little bit of a context for that. There is a place, reality, world, life that is home to me, which I have always remembered glimpses of. And I'm not talking about past life here, and I'm not talking about another planet here, or anything like that. I am talking about me and my soul remembering home. I'm also not talking about heaven per se in the way that it is typically portrayed, particularly in my background, Christianity. But I am talking about home, where all is well and where all is as it is meant to be, and it's in a place of eternal rest and restoration, in which there is no need for anything other than just to be who we are, as we are. And this is a place, for me, my particular home, and I do believe we all have our own home. I'm not going to go into the specifics, but my particular home that I have always remembered, there have been beautiful moments in my life in which that was confirmed to me in one way or another. Sometimes as simply as when I was walking in the woods, and other times through connections with other individuals, or things that I have been shown at pivotal moments of my life. And so in this dream or experience I had about a week ago, I was, for the first time in a long time, home. Not just thinking about that or having that picture in my mind, but literally there. And in the dream, there were some beautiful things that unfolded, and my witnessing of some of what was unfolding, both on the earth, on our planet, and also within the hearts of man and woman, within from that perspective, from the home where I was, I could see the feelings that and the experiences that others were having. So, and that experience of the dream vision, experience that I had that evening when I woke up. Also, one reason that it was so powerful is when I woke up, I was alone in this home, which is my recollection of it for me, but not alone. I was physically, it was just me being there, but I was connected to all and everyone, and that's what I believe home is. And